What happens when two of television's biggest personalities clash live on air? When years of quiet tension finally burst in front of millions? Before we dive into this storm, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me whose side you're on, because what you're about to see is pure television history. The Good Morning America studio buzzed with its usual energy as Michael Strahan sat at the desk, his trademark gap-toothed smile in place. Steve Harvey was the day's guest, there to promote his new comedy tour and talk about his continued success across different platforms. What should have been a lighthearted conversation between two respected figures quickly became something no one expected. Steve Harvey walked onto the set with his usual confidence, that familiar swagger earned from decades of hard work. The crowd applauded. Strahan stood for the handshake and hug. Everything looked routine. But if you paid attention, you could see something in Steve's eyes, a tension in his face that hinted this wouldn't be a simple interview. They sat down and Strahan opened with easy banter. "Steve Harvey, welcome back to Good Morning America. You're everywhere these days. Family Feud, your radio show, hosting gigs. How do you manage it all?" Steve leaned back, paused a moment longer than expected, then said, "Well, Michael, when you love what you do, when you're actually passionate about it, not just chasing checks, you make the time. You make it happen because it means something." The words hung heavy. Strahan's smile faltered just a little. "That's great. Speaking of passion, your comedy tour is coming up. You've been doing stand-up for what, almost 40 years now?" 42, Steve corrected sharply. 42 years of grinding, staying relevant. Not because I got lucky after a football career ended, but because I worked every day for it. The studio went quiet. The tension was visible even through the cameras. Strahan's polite smile stiffened. "Wow, okay. That's one way to put it. A lot of people work hard in this business, Steve." "Do they, though?" Steve leaned forward, eyes locked on him. "Or do some people just coast on their name? There's a difference between being liked and being talented, Michael. Between showing up and actually bringing something." Robin Roberts laughed lightly, trying to diffuse the moment. "Guys, let's keep this friendly." But Steve wasn't backing down. "I am being friendly, Robin, just being honest. That's what's missing from TV today, honesty. Everyone smiles and pretends like we're all equals, but some of us earned our place. Others were given it." Strahan's jaw tightened. "I don't know what you're suggesting, but I've worked hard for everything I've achieved. I played football for 15 years, won a Super Bowl, built a broadcasting career I'm proud of." "And that's great," Steve replied. "But let's be honest about how you got this seat. You didn't climb through comedy clubs or radio shows. The networks wanted a football star. That's fine, but don't act like we came up the same way." The control room must have been in chaos. This was supposed to be an easy promo. Strahan took a breath, trying to stay calm. "You're being disrespectful, Steve. I've never claimed to be a comedian, but I bring value to this show. You coming here and tearing that down says more about you than me." Steve laughed, without humor. "I'm not tearing anything down, Michael. I'm just saying you've spent your career being the nice guy, the safe choice. You've forgotten what real talk sounds like." Strahan's voice rose.
Real talk?
"You mean calling me out on live TV because you're bitter? Jealous?" Steve's eyes went cold.
Jealous?
"I've been in this business longer than you've been out of your pads. I run multiple shows, a production company, a comedy empire. What would I be jealous of, this desk?" Strahan stood, hands trembling slightly. "Then why are you here if you don't respect what we do?" "I came to promote my tour," Steve said, still seated, calm. "But I'm not here to pretend. This is about standards, about how the industry keeps lowering the bar, and you're proof of it." Robin tried again. "Let's take a breath." "No," Steve cut her off. "This is between me and Michael." "What's been brewing?" Strahan asked, clearly hurt. "I've always respected you." "You really don't see it?" Steve replied. "Every big gig, every award, they go to you. Not because you're the best, but because you're safe. You smile, read the teleprompter, and cash the check." Strahan shot back. "That's unfair. I've trained for this. Worked hard to earn respect," Steve scoffed. "You can't study authenticity, Michael. You either have it or you don't. I've been broke, homeless, performing in clubs that barely had lights. That's what gives you something real to say." The audience sat frozen, some uncomfortable, some glued to every word. "So that's what this is?" Strahan said. You think because you struggled more, your success means more? I'm sorry my path was different, but that doesn't make it less valid. Didn't say it was less valid, Steve replied. Just easier. I had to kick my doors down. I work 12-hour days, Strahan snapped. I care about this show and our audience. You coming here and disrespecting that isn't about me. It's about whatever you're dealing with. Oh, now you're analyzing me? Steve said with a tight laugh. You don't know what it's like to carry what I carry. Maybe that's your problem, Strahan said quietly. You're so busy proving yourself you can't let others succeed without feeling threatened. That landed hard. For a moment, Steve's anger faded, replaced by something like regret. But it was gone as quickly as it appeared. I don't need to be lectured by someone who's been in this for 5 minutes, Steve said, standing. I'm done. You're not walking off, Strahan said, stepping in front of him. Finish this like a man. I'm trying to leave before this gets somewhere ugly, Steve warned. Or what? Strahan shot back. The tension was electric. Security hovered, unsure. You really want to push this? Steve said softly. I promise you, you don't. I'm not afraid of you, Strahan said. You owe me an apology. For telling the truth? Steve replied. You want me to apologize for honesty? For attacking my integrity, Strahan countered. Because you feel threatened. Because maybe you think the world's moved on. Steve clenched his fists. Threatened by you? I've achieved more than you'll ever imagine. At least I'm a team player, Strahan said. At least I don't burn bridges. People are tired of your ego. Enough! Robin shouted, stepping between them. Neither moved. You've never had to fight for anything, Steve said, voice sharp. Everything came easy. Stop saying that. Strahan's voice cracked. I bled for my career, earned every inch. Nobody handed me anything. You started with your name already known, Steve replied. Doors open for you. I started with nothing. So my success doesn't count, Strahan asked. That's ridiculous. Don't pretend we came up the same, Steve snapped. You had options. I didn't. I'm sorry you struggled, Strahan said, calmer now. But that doesn't give you the right to tear me down. Steve hesitated, softening just a bit. I didn't say you don't deserve your spot, just that you haven't earned the same recognition as those who've lived this grind. You're just justifying your disrespect, Strahan said. You came here looking for a fight, and you got one. Steve smirked. Finally, some emotion. That's the real you. You want real? Strahan said darkly. I've watched you preach about faith and kindness while mistreating people behind the scenes. You want honesty? Let's talk about the gap between Steve Harvey, the brand, and the man. Steve froze, stunned. You don't know what you're talking about, don't I? Strahan pressed. Ask why so many people stop working with you. Ask why they respect your success but not you. Steve's face hardened. You're spreading rumors now? Not rumors, patterns, Strahan said firmly. Robin stepped in again. Enough! We're going to commercial, but the cameras stayed rolling. You have no idea what it takes to run what I run, Steve said coldly. Expecting excellence isn't abuse. It's leadership. That's your excuse, Strahan said. That's why people are afraid to call you out. What problem am I part of, Michael? Steve demanded. The one where successful black men tear each other down, Strahan said. The room went still. We should be lifting each other up, not tearing down for ego or ratings. Steve's tone softened. Don't twist this into that. I've spent my career lifting others. Then why this? Strahan asked. You came here to start something. Steve looked out at the audience. When he spoke again, his voice was low. You want to know why? Because I'm tired, Michael. Tired of seeing people rewarded for being safe. Tired of talent taking a back seat to charm. Maybe I took it out on you unfairly. Maybe you were just the one sitting here when it boiled over. But why me? Strahan asked. We've crossed paths for years. What changed? Steve sighed. I'm getting older. I see my legacy compared to people who've been here half the time. I turned on the TV, saw you being praised for what I've done for decades, and something snapped. The honesty stunned everyone. So it's jealousy? Strahan said gently. Call it whatever, Steve replied. Jealousy, pride. Maybe it's just being tired of fighting twice as hard for half as much. Robin said softly, Steve, Your anger shouldn't be for him. It's the system that made you fight so hard. Steve nodded slowly. You're right. I just reacted wrong. Strahan exhaled. I understand. I've had to prove myself too. Maybe we're not that different. We are, Steve said quietly. But I hear you. Your success doesn't take away from mine, Strahan said. There's room for both of us. Steve nodded, drained. You're right, and I apologize. Not for feeling what I feel, but for disrespecting you. Strahan extended a hand. I'm sorry, too. They shook hands, tension fading. But everyone knew they'd witnessed something unforgettable, raw, honest, and real. Two men exposing the truth behind fame, ego, and legacy. So there you have it. One of the most shocking interviews in morning TV history. Two giants clashing, then finding common ground. Was Steve Harvey justified, or did he cross the line? Tell me what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.